I don't want to make this video too long. Got a lot of stuff to cover. Alright, so here, I'll start from the top. Djedje reset Khufu. Apparently, Pharaoh Khufu was responsible for the construction of the Pyramid of Giza. So, I mean, we know about, like, the reset, Phoenix Protocol and all that stuff, right? But, Djedje also has perfect overlap. Djedje is, like, being so judgmental, right? It's like, if you think that, like, people deserve to die for, being, like, sinners and stuff like that, it's like murder in itself. It's like murder begins in the heart, right? So, sinner and murder, right? It's perfect overlap right there, which is weird, right? I mean, the numbers are numbers. I'm just, like, presenting the numbers. I'm not really being, like, a preacher or anything like that. Like, a lot of people know the Bible way, way, way better than me. So then, like, pagan, Saturn, and Satan. This is interesting. So, pagan Saturn. This Saturn is paganism, right? Like, pagan Saturn, but sane, like the etymology, because of sanity, like sanitation, like cleanliness. And apparently, like, apparently it's like Egyptians, they're obsessed with cleanliness or something, like anything that's like unclean, or I don't really know. They would circumcise their wangs, like that's like obelisk, like phallic worship or whatever. I swear, there's like where I live, there's a car called Isis, and like it's like Isis Platana, which means banana, like the banana, like the wang, like the Osiris myth, with the wang, with the whole thing, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's weird. This phallic worship thing is, like, weird, right? Like the Egyptian stuff. So, Son of Man, apparently the Pauline epistles don't even mention the Son of Man at all. So, they don't mention that term or anything. So, just throwing that out there. Then work and figs, Lucifer, no works. So, so you got to put in work, and part of work is, faith. Like, faith alone, right? Like, even having faith, that's putting in work in itself, I think, just like putting in the mental energy to, like, have faith is good in itself. So yeah, then Heru and Rule. Heru is like Horus, and Rule. So, I mean, it's like, I don't really know. I mean, that I'm just throwing that. I don't really know what's gonna happen, but it is what it is. So, and then Mason, Egypt. Yeah, it's perfect overlap. Stupid and pastor. I don't really. That's I'm just providing the numbers. I don't really think any of these pastors are stupid, but if we look at the definition of stupor, I mean, it's like you're in a kind of an illusion or something, like a drunken stupor or something. So, just looking at the etymology in itself, like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. A lot of these pastors are asleep, apparently. So, anyways, yeah, and a couple more things. What is it? T Cross, Tammuz, Marduk, and then Amun Ra. What was it here? So yeah, Amun Ra and Marduk have perfect overlap. And then Tammuz and T Cross, it's like the T Cross and everything, like the cross. I mean, it's like, I remember, like, a couple pastors were saying, like, that, like, it's like, why not, like, have, like, the electric chair around your neck, right? It's like, yeah, I mean, like, the cross is, like, basically the Ankh, right? It's Egyptian. I'm not sure, why people wear that thing, but, I used to wear the cross around my neck. I stopped ever since I woke up and, listened to a lot of the truth channels out there. But, yeah, I mean, I just don't really think that cross thing is, like, a really positive thing. It's like a murder weapon, right? And also, swords kind of look like a cross, to be honest. So, Tammuz, I mean, people, like, would weep for Tammuz. Like, weeping for Tammuz is in Ezekiel, mentioned in Ezekiel. So, like, apparently people were facing to the north and weeping for Tammuz. Remember, the north is where the sun, is already, it's nighttime, right? That's Osiris in the underworld. And then people would face to the east where the sun rises and, like, do rituals there, and that's Horus, right? So, that's another thing to, throw out there. So, it's important that, like, people realize that, like, a lot of these rituals and all these things, it's like kind of like, it's very Egyptian. Like, you're like, bowing down, like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You're like kind of like a slave or something. Yeah, it's like really weird, right? And we know how, like, the word, like, the number 42 is stamped all over Egypt, like the laws of Ma'at. In Sumerian, laws of Ma'at equals 666, right? I'll type that in. Laws of Ma'at. Yeah, it's like 111 in ordinal, so in, Sumerian it's 666. It's 42. Negative convection. Negative. You see, like, the word negative in there, right? Yeah, that's a big thing right there, right? A lot of these, it's cultic, right? It's like all the snake stuff, like the serpent, like was like Sobek, all these other, like, like Messe means crocodile and, like, Egyptian or whatever, like Messiah, Messe, Messiah, Mashah, like, it sounds like a hissing of a snake, right? They got us programmed to, like, worship. They're programming us to, like, follow and worship this, demon king or this lizard king or whatever, and, like, lizard king and I Pet Goat 2 have perfect overlap in the 4 base ciphers, right? So I Pet Goat 2 and Lizard King, you see, like, the Anubis boat with the Osiris Horus thing with the whole thing on his forehead, like, representing the Dajjal, like the Antichrist or whatever. So yeah, or maybe not the Antichrist, maybe the false prophet is the Antichrist. We don't really know. I mean, like, I don't really know. The beast of the earth, and there are two beasts, right? There's there's the Antichrist and there's the false Christ, right? Like Antichristos and Pseudo-Christos. Like, we already know, like, kind of like the Antichrist is already at work, right? Like, they're, like, making everybody sin and stuff, right? But, like, there's gonna be, like, it's problem solution. That's the way the world works, right? Like, they provide the problem so they can provide the solution. Everything's provided. Like, people, like, gotta wake up and think for themselves. Like, they're just trapped in this, like, illusion type of thing. Like, they're just, I don't know. I mean, like, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people that just need to, wake up. I mean, people are going to be faced with the decision, right? It's like, are they going to condone murder or not, right? That's the thing. It's like, obviously, like, these guys are about murder. Like, yeah, I mean, we see what's going on, like, all these deaths and everything. It's like, some people don't suspect a thing, right? With all these derailments and all these, like, disasters and all these celebrity deaths or whatever. Like, some people are still, like, they just go about their everyday lives. But, they're going to get a big wake-up call. So, we don't really know. But what exactly is going to happen, that's the thing with these numbers. Like, they're not a predictor. It just shows, like, the numerical tendencies. It just shows the script that they have planned out for us. If not, it's like God in itself, right? It's like, this is, like, part of the whole thing. It's part of the script, like the scriptures. It's like, we know what's gonna happen, right? So it's like, I don't know. I mean, they could do all this in numerical magic or whatever, but, like, we know what the end result's gonna be. But, it's part of the suffering thing, right? Like, they're gonna make it as difficult as possible for us. it's gonna be hard. Like, that's the thing. It's like no works, right? The moment you stop putting in works is when, you know, you basically say, I give up, I'm defeated. You know, as long as we're spiritually active, it's all good. So just like remain spiritually active. If they like murder you, like whatever, you know, it's like you're not them, right? It's like you got to stand up for righteousness, right? You know, that type of thing. Anyways, I'll just leave it at that. See you guys.